This is the Infinity Warm-Up Podcast, and I'm one of your co-hosts, Jabriel, and right over here...
It's Trey. We just got done with Phase 1. We're cruising into Phase 2 with the third Iron Man movie.
Cruising 2 hours and 10 minutes in the third Iron Man movie.
It's 2:10? Wow,
Yeah.
It felt short.
Which, I wonder if you put it together, like, so this is 2 and 10. How many are in Phase 2?
I think there's an additional 5 movies. We go through the normal cast: Captain A, Thor,
So 12 hours.
Iron Man, no Hulk, but Guardians, and then Ultron. So 5
Well done.
movies.
I need this written down somewhere because I do not have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the Iron Man 3 podcast, and you know what I should do is
What's up?
I should fix this right here. You know where it says Iron Man 3 with the number 3?
Uh-huh.
Because if you try to find this shit on IMDb, I guarantee you, I don't guarantee you should try it though.
Okay.
Iron Man 3 is spelled like with the word 3. Like it wasn't so
Wait.
easy. Like you type in Iron Man 3 and it's like it is Iron Man THREE. I should change this.
Those rat bastards. They
Goddamn.
pulled one over on you.
Pulled a fast one. You need to fill in this gap right here while I change this. You need to say something, Trey.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it was a pretty crazy holiday weekend. I'm surprised we're back as fast as we are. But we got some binge watching done. I'm surprised you finished Black Mirror as fast as you did.
Yeah.
It's fastly becoming one of my favorite, just mind-breaking series. In fact, I probably shouldn't binge them because each one of them requires like a day and a half to unwind and digest and cry if need be. It's also very good.
Okay, they are good, but you can do
your
2
favorite
in
one
one
on
day.
there?
Huh?
I mean, I did the whole thing and probably under the amount of time it took to watch them. I just went straight through. What was your favorite one on there? For me, it's a toss-up between the USS Callister or whatever, the opening
You
Star
like that
Trek.
one? Oh,
But that
come
was
on.
so fucking sweet. That was so sweet. And
I didn't understand it.
And
Go
the
ahead.
Black Museum at the end.
Yeah, that one was good. That guy,
What got you?
I would say the first one had me kind of mad. I thought it was kind of cool what he did, and he made a game, but I don't understand how the data have like consciousness.
Well, that was one of the ideas that they traced over again in an earlier episode. But yeah, they've been, plucking people's consciousness and making like that therapist guy who had that lady's consciousness as like an Alexa that just did shit around the house for her because it knew all of her preferences already. Yeah, same principle actually. Yeah, almost exact same principle. Only this time he was getting like the DNA off of like whatever was lying around at the office and then uploaded. I guess using their what? I wonder what he got like the entire person from other than just a DNA sample. Hell, it's the future. Maybe that's all it takes to just trap your consciousness into a test build. But like that was so incredible. Like he was genuinely horrifying as he was like coming after him through the asteroid belt. Like, I'm gonna tear your insides apart, put them in a jar. You're gonna look at yourself. Fuck yeah. Like I was menacing.
I was just so mad about the concept of everybody like understanding that this is a fake world where he can just remove oxygen from you, or remove
your eyes, your nose,
all of a sudden you can't breathe. I'm just like, yeah, well, but none of this is real, so you can't be feeling this pain, right?
No, they are for sure. I mean, they're just their avatars at this point. They're no longer connected to their bodies, So yeah, she was suffocating with no mouth, unable to
how long
see
could that
or
be
voice
fun
her
for,
opinions.
Right? How long could that be fun to watch? After like 2 minutes, I'm sure he would just knock it off.
Well, yeah, and then turn him into a roach monster. I mean, the guy is an asshole. The wife says he looks like a Matt Damon in a fat suit, kind of like Big Mama.
He looks so, I've seen him before, and
I checked the credits too. I'm like, he's making a good case for like The Martian.
What other episodes were there? Because I'm drawing a blank right now.
There was that Terminator one. Yeah, I'm looking online. That was kind of people's least favorite episode, but it horrified the shit out of me. That lady, just trying to escape with her life from that fucking dog beast monster from
Yeah,
DARPA.
that
Yeah,
one.
that was
Yeah,
horrifying.
god
Only
damn
because
it.
I feel like most of that was practical. Like I feel like that technology exists, and there's some mutant dog out there. Maybe not running around on three legs, but I've seen some like trial footage of them running around. So yeah, like that's next.
That's
Just uncaring Terminator dogs with machine guns for arms is what's in store for us.
the craziest. Well, I was just relating it to like I don't think I've ever seen Planet of the Apes, but I get the concept and why it's so scary. And I was watching it with my girlfriend, and I was just like, this is like 1,000 times scarier. She's like why? And I was just like, cause like not, cause we can't hurt them. Like she ran out
Yeah,
of
you could
bullets.
like
That's it. Like pulse
reason with
grenade.
uncaring Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know? I mean, you weren't gonna get too far, but
Well,
he'll like
Terminator
say something
was.
funny. Yeah, I'll be back or something. That dog didn't say shit. It just like rolled himself over when he got knocked off.
That's true.
Powered down to wait her out in a tree and starved to death. Spoiler alerts for Black Mirror. I don't know who is gonna listen to this
How long?
podcast right away, but
How long's
yeah.
it been out? Like what? Like
3
2
hours,
weeks?
maybe.
Not
No.
true.
Well,
No, I think it came out on Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess people might not binge it all the way through. I don't know how you could just walk away from it, but it is rude to parse over the details without a proper warning.
Well, sometimes they'll just make really weird episodes. Like I think,
Yeah,
did you see the last
they're
episode
all
of the
really
season?
weird.
No. Like, okay, fine. But I can normally understand what's going on, not put myself in the situation, but understand the situation. Like the first episode where they made like the prime minister fuck a pig.
Yes, unsimulated sexual intercourse with a pig on live television as a
No
goof.
green screen.
as a goof. It was so mean. And
It
yeah,
was insane, but you know
I
what?
recently
Stuff
I
like
was at
that kind of. There was a scene in this movie that I'm about to break open right now. There was a scene, I think, when the president was on the plane and he was listening to the Mandarin. And then, like, one of the guys looked at him.
This later. Go on.
One of the guys looked at him. He was just like, "We can't give into this command. Like, this is giving into terrorism." And I'm just like, "Exactly. What the fuck is wrong with you?" That's what the problem with that, not the movie, but that one character in the first episode of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Well, hey, the Queen of fucking York or whatever, the
Okay.
Duchess of Hoopla, she called him and said, "No, you better do." She didn't say it like explicitly.
All right,
She said,
well then-
"Do everything in your power to get her back."
Okay.
And it's just implied
Fine.
that if need be, you better.
I just don't understand being an enemy of the state or the country or the queen, whatever the
Okay.
fuck you'd want to say. Just defy that because there's no way you're coming back from that. And clearly, like,
Mentally, yeah.
No,
I mean,
full circle.
His ratings like the next year, and God, this is
No
why the episode was so brilliant, because it made you just acknowledge the futility of trying to make a difference in this world. But yeah, like a year later, he was polling at 3% higher than he was prior to having relations with a pig. So yeah, like your career can bounce back. Your wife will never look at you the same again.
Would any
But
woman though? Like,
small
was he?
potatoes?
Do you think he was getting laid by anyone else? Because otherwise, I guess I'd be okay with it.
I mean,
Because if it's just a career move, you might as well cut off your genitals and go. All right, well now I'm just a forecaster. This is just what I do. I'm not neither man nor woman. Like, I didn't sign up for that life. I can't even understand like the mentality behind that. Like,
yeah,
the
neither
only
could he. He was wrapping his head around it in real
just say
time.
no, dude.
Like
Just
the
don't
rest
give
of
into
them.
that shit. There's no.
He started out with a hard no, and then they had like 3 contingency
solid.
plans.
You're
None
right.
of them worked, and then public opinion shifted on him, and then he was going to be murdered. What was his lady said that? Yeah, we can't ensure your safety if you don't pork this pig. Like you have to.
But
yeah.
they said the same thing to that one Russian guy in Rocky. You know what he
Did they?
did? Just went
What?
back to Russia. He said, "You fight me here, goddamn it." How
uh,
stupid, by the way. I just saw Rocky 4 for like the second time. That's the
all
first
right.
time I was too young. Happening.
Ooh, and yeah, I haven't seen a Rocky in years, so you're on your own with this tangent.
Oh man. Okay.
No, I'll try. I'll try. What do you got?
Well, that's why I made that reference. I guess I assumed you were gonna be like, "Oh, hey, how'd you like it?" And I was just like,
Not
honestly,
even. Yeah, nothing.
well, you know what? Because I've only seen now Rocky 4 and 1. I still think that this guy should try out for the Avengers.
Rocky or Sylvester Stallone?
Rocky, clearly. No, Sylvester Stallone is aging. Rocky can take like.
Also, he's already in the MCU.
Is he?
Yeah, come on. He's a
in
rabbit.
Guardians of the. Oh, okay. No, I didn't say. Okay, not Sylvester. Rocky should try out for the Avengers. Do you remember these movies at all? The movies are about this guy who fights in a time when boxing has like 16 rounds. There's basically no weight like division. And all he does is he's the Homer Simpson of boxing.
Yeah.
He just takes a lot of blows to the face, and then when they're tired and they have no form anymore, he's like,
I mean, are you saying that makes for like good superhero-ing?
Of
Because that's
course.
essentially Wolverine's character.
No, he's much more than that. He's not just a punching bag. He can soak up a lot of bullets, though.
Yeah. That's,
But no, this
what I
character,
meant.
like, he doesn't. Okay, he can just be the distraction. He's like, he's okay. He has like the defense of Hulk, but not the strength or anything else. So it's like, all right, fine. Just throw this guy in when you need a distraction. Just be like, what's going on? This
But
dude
like,
gets
if you look at
ambushed.
how many like clean punches it took Rocky to knock down just like one regular human, like what's he gonna do in a superhero movie?
He doesn't have to be a fighter as well. He just be, like a defensive front. He's just a decoy. He's gonna take a lot of. He can soak up a lot of damage. That's my point. And he's just gonna stay conscious the whole time. And he's not fighting Mayweather, dude. He's fighting dudes that are like 250 pounds. He fought like Mr. T and somehow won. This guy's a superhero. He's like 5
and
inches
Sly's
short.
like a small person in real life, right? I'm not sure. He might be one of the taller ones. But either way, he did not cross the 200-pound threshold for that movie to go up against giant Russians.
He weighs like Pat. He's like 180 or something like that. Russian guy comes in like 40-something pounds heavier, and I was like, Rocky's not even a heavyweight? I don't know what it is at 180.
It was catch weight. I don't. Yeah. It's been so long since I watched them. I don't even know if they were fighting in the heavyweight division in this fictional boxing reality where people just take punches flush to the mug.
I don't know. I guess it was just like one person from each country is basically what it seemed like, and then Carl Weathers slid in. And
did you ever get to watch the new Rocky movie, Creed?
No, not yet.
It's pretty good.
We're way off on a tangent here. I just wanted to make fun of Carl Weathers real quick because has there ever been like a more comedic actor who's just super ripped? What is the meaning of this guy? He's never serious in any movie.
Yes.
He even shows up on Arrested Development as a comedic character. Like, this guy's not for real. In Predator, like, he just was super ripped. Like, he joined that team of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's team of I don't know, really good at killing people guys. And he was just super ripped as he just looked like he blended in. Everybody was like talking shit about him. Like, he was the wimp, like, out of the crowd of people. And it's like, I know he can beat my ass, but I'm just saying, how'd you get that career, man? It's weird.
Yeah, you just had to be buff in the 80s. That's how they rocked all the action movies.
True. God damn it. It's a good point.
As opposed to now, I feel like Robert Downey Jr. let himself go a little bit for this one.
All right, we got to get into this.
Do you want to start with Disney related stuff? Like I finally saw Star Wars over the break, and now that the movie has had time to marinate and make nerds angry, do you still feel some kind of way about it? I mean, I know you were never really a Star Wars fan, from the get-go, but I recall you not liking the portrayal of Mr. Skywalker in this one, or could you care less?
I didn't really like his character at the end. Like, it seemed like he had like graduated onto another step of being like this old master who's just like, look, it seemed like he was like ready to die. And then Like he sees Yoda and he's just like, I guess that's what you're supposed to do when you see your master. I don't know, I've never had a master before, but when you see them again, you're just supposed to go back to student mode. And he was just like, spoiler alert. He was like saying stupid shit like, oh, well, if you destroy the Hall of Records, it's all gone. I was just like, how stupid. How old is this guy? Like, are you just like an older version of the 16-year-old boy you were?
Well, no,
50,
I mean,
60?
wasn't he protecting the last of the Jedi text?
Text.
Yeah. Also, he's the last Jedi, so
And that's his
literally
fault,
it's him
right?
and the records.
That was his fault. He didn't want to train anybody, right?
Well, Kylo Ren kind of went sour on him.
He saw that...
And it queered him away from this whole training Jedi business.
Yeah. Okay, so bad guy stopped him from being a good guy.
Something like that.
I'm not a hero anymore.
Well, I mean, it ruined his whole day when his prize student turned out to be the harbinger of the apocalypse. So he went into hiding, especially since, like, it's his sister's and best friend's kid, and he was going to kill him. Yeah, now he has to be disgraced. That part made sense. But yeah, everybody in nerd circles, I guess, are up in arms about this to the point where they're trying to strike it from the canon. They don't even want it to be a part of the Star Wars universe. I think it's fascinating, and I'm just.
Was that the only reason why, or was there anything else? Because that wasn't really what I was.
Well, I mean, other than there are some legitimate gripes with the movies. That whole sequence on the casino planet, I guess, had this weird like animal rightsy note to it.
I didn't know what that was about either.
Yeah, especially since it took place in like a part of the movie where like shit's really going down all over the place, and like it kept cutting back to what was her name, Rose, that little Asian girl, and Finn, who are generally just screwing up that entire time they're over there, you know? Yeah.
Well, Finn was fucking up since the moment he got caught, though. Thought he was slicker than that.
Yeah, well, I guess. Well, he's just, not a stormtrooper anymore. Honestly, I don't know what they're going to do with this character. I mean, it's exciting, right? What are they going to do with the third movie? No. They killed all the bad guys, and there's like 10 people left in the Resistance.
What about the Collector, Benicio del Toro? He's going to be in the next one,
right? Better somewhere else. I don't know. He just got paid off. It was all
what about that
money
wink he gave him at the end, right?
The what?
He basically gave him a stare. It was just like, yeah, well, I'm doing this for the money, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to come back later.
I mean, I
assume that's how they got saved.
Who got saved? Nobody got saved.
Let's not go. I didn't ask to go over this damn movie. What about the part with Kylo Ren half naked? What was that?
What was wrong? What was wrong with it? Other than his pants being way too high.
Okay, it's not that he. Okay, why did that scene need to be there? Did he just get out of the shower and like he just reconnected with Rey?
No, yeah, they were showing that they have this weird ethereal connection through the Force.
That was the time. Was he happy? It just seemed kind of like he was trying to push himself on.
They can't control it. Neither of them could, right? They just kind of like would turn around wherever they are and do them.
The guy that he killed.
Yeah, Snoke. The evil mastermind who turned out not to matter at all in the slightest for any real reason.
Well, he mattered a lot. He was there for that awesome fight scene.
Well, yeah, but who is he?
I don't know. He was some emperor in like this badass red room who couldn't fight for shit. Well, he could. He just wasn't smart enough to realize that homeboy's fucking with his hand behind his back over there. Is that a really cool thing that he could do, or was it just perfectly timed? With the sword, turning it and making it, stab the guy?
Yeah, no, that's just run-of-the-mill telekinesis. he just got tricked. He just had one pulled over on him. That's all that was.
What a fucking idiot.
So Iron Man. This is our third time. This is our third time seeing Tony Stark in as many movies.
What do you think about it?
I mean, you know what? I don't like this one. I genuinely don't. I'm not a fan of it. I will, however, defend the decision they made with the Mandarin, which we'll get to later. But on the whole, I just thought this was the weaker of the three installments with good parts to it. But I don't like the regression that they made with the Iron Man suits, how they all just fall apart from the beginning of the movie. And granted, that was a prototype, but all throughout the movie, they're rinky dink pieces of garbage.
It's just the
I don't
one,
know
right?
why.
It's just the one, right? The Mark 42.
The Mark 42 is yeah, the one that he called to himself, although it seemed like all of them could be remotely piloted on their
Yeah, but that
own.
was the one that kept falling apart.
Well, no, even in the if we skip ahead all the way to the end fight sequence, like they were falling off of him left and right. Killian was cutting them open. They were just getting hit by random things. One of them just broke apart on his way to him, like he called it over while he was just on the bridge, and like its ankle got tripped up on some scaffolding and it just disintegrated into pieces. Like I don't like. I guess since Avengers, he's been making them all out of aluminum or something. I don't know why he went cheap for Mark 4 through 42.
I was wondering what was going on because it definitely stood out to me too, but it kept seeming like he had a shit ton of suits, but he didn't have that many because he kept using that same one.
Well, I mean, they did a good job in the middle of the movie getting him away from his suits, and what I think is the stronger sequence in the film.
Because that kid fucking took Tony from the beginning to the end of the movie. Like he.
Okay, so you did like him? Yeah, kids are touch and go in movies. If he was a bad actor, then this movie would honestly be terrible. But yeah, I like that kid. He was dope.
Yeah, I mean. It was pretty cool, like, and then the whole thing he set up for him at the end was really cool. I didn't like that scene where they went over to where that explosion went off and there was like the shadows on the wall.
Do you want to start from the top, or do you want to get into that right now? Because overall, I just want your feelings on the movie. Like, overall, are you up or down on it?
I was having a conversation with one of our friends earlier, and the way I decided I feel is I like the movie. Accepting it for what it is. Like if this could not have been just an Iron Man movie. It had to have been like it couldn't. I don't know. It's the third one, and I've seen the original, whatever it's called, the origin story. So it's kind of like just another story.
This is the first movie after the Avengers. Like I'm trying to go back into what my head was like at the time. I'm like, how are they guys just gonna carry their own like solo movies after they just got done, doing a big collaborative team up? And in the later Marvel movies that we've seen, the Doctor Stranges, Thor's, Ant-Man, you see them doing this whole where they'll drag one other character over and do like a team up kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And this one was just straight up, Tony Stark again. And that's kind of what I found
still filled a lot of screen time. Well, that's I feel like I don't know. You know what it is it's like your first feeling or emotion is always correct. Like I have these negative feelings throughout the movie, and by the end when they like wrap it up, I'm just like, kind of made sense how he was kind of Tony Stark for the majority of this movie. Like, because I had this exact same conversation earlier when I watched the movie. But there's 10 to 15 minutes of him being in the suit. In fact, the suit is active a lot with him not even in it.
Right? Yeah.
What was that?
That scene was cool, and also again it breaking apart by being hit with a truck. We've seen it get hit with like tank shells, and like a 45-mile-an-hour moving truck just completely shatters it.
That's why I kept thinking that was the Mark 42. Was it not?
Yeah, I think it was Mark 42. Want to say
he kept saying he had some kinks to work out, but it's hard for me to like completely understand that, because he was definitely a genius throughout this movie. Once that kid gave him the inspiration to just make a bunch of stuff, he basically walked up on that property as Batman, but during the day, and took everybody out with a dart gun and some explosive devices that he
Christmas
made.
caroling, yeah. All right, let's go from the top. This movie is directed by Shane Black. Are you familiar with Shane Black? He did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's the reason, that movie with him and Robert Downey Jr. is the reason why he's able to direct Iron Man 3. RDJ called him up and said, "Hey, do this." Favreau won't, type deal. But did you ever see Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or The Nice Guys?
No.
No, you're not familiar with.
I thought this movie was directed by Jon Favreau. What the fuck happened?
No. He didn't want to do it. I think this is around when people are starting to have problems with Kevin Feige, the executive producer, about creative visions and whatnot. But I could be telling tales out of school. But whatever reason, Jon Favreau is not behind the director's chair. Did you notice like a big tonal difference between because Jon Favreau directed Iron Man 1 and 2. Do you notice a difference between this one and the previous installments?
I mean, I noticed a different story, but I
well, yes, they did not retell the same two stories.
Like, no,
actually,
no,
honestly,
noticed the
yeah,
difference.
because...
You know what? I felt like I noticed at the time. This movie came out right around the time The Dark Knight Returns.
You can't quote me on that. I don't know.
I felt like I'm pretty sure it was. I know it was after The Dark Knight, and I feel like Iron Man was kind of in competition with this movie for sales because that was a fucking really good Batman movie. And
I'm sorry, The Dark Knight. Yeah, no, The Dark Knight was way earlier.
No,
Dark Knight Rises, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, because the hype from Dark Knight, it was like, oh my god, and I thought the reason they had Tony just hopping in and out of suits was just so they could show off what they could do.
Well, specifically to show how many toys they could sell, but yeah. Shucks. What do I want to bother you about?
Well,
I mean,
I have some notes here.
So yeah, like it's different from the first two because there's no longer mech on mech violence for the finale and or second act or whatever.
That was
like
good.
He gets to fight something different.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy to not see him go up against another Iron Man suit?
I was pretty stoked, but in the direction of the villain he ended up facing,
yeah, bummer,
I'm
right?
still sour. Don't know what else I can say. Well, I mean, I have plenty to say.
Well, yeah, okay. Man, I kind of want to hop into that, but let's do a little bit of the first act stuff because where does this movie start out? Somewhere in 1999 at a New Year's party. Oh, but did you get to see Yinsen in the beginning there?
Okay.
Yeah, he came up to him. Look at that.
Who else was right? Who did he introduce him to? Do you remember?
Ooh, no. All those people there were kind of blurs. Until it gets to Killian and Maya.
And she's she, just like in the movie, is a really important character in the Iron Man story too. I didn't know that. That's good. They're actually getting useful characters.
Yeah,
exactly. She worked with Killian. I mean, this is what I read on Wikipedia, man. I don't know.
Okay.
But no, there's like I was talking with the same friend outside of the podcast about this, and he was making reference to the fact that they make a lot of drops to off-screen characters.
Did you get any specifics?
Okay, well, Dr. Wu was not so off-screen. He was on-screen. That's who they introduced Tony to. Do you remember that?
Agents of Atlas? Dr. Wu? The Asian guy? No.
It was Radioactive Man, Dr. Wu.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean,
that's him.
But yeah, no, that
Heart surgeon.
slipped my mind.
I read this. But yeah, it's like, well, it's kind of like the leader in the Incredible Hulk. Remember that? I don't know if you went up and looked that up, but I told you that's the leader who gets the goo dripped on his head. Like, are they opening up these roles to use them later? Why introduce him to Dr. Wu for that 1 second just so he could see that Tony's an asshole?
I mean, it's always good to have, groundwork planted. Right? We know now, being in the future, that they do not plan on doing anything with them. But, expand the world. Why not?
I mean, they can tell the story.
Give little nods to comic book readers.
They can tell the story any way they want to, right? Like, they just... And if you relook at that first scene, or whatever scene, I guess it was the first scene. So, he was introduced to 2 heart doctors. One whom was responsible for his life to save him when he was held captive by those Afghanis or whatever. And then the other guy, technically, on Wikipedia, Dr. Wu is the one who's responsible for removing the shrapnel from Iron Man's chest, not whoever the fuck they showed at the end of the movie. They just showed he was in. They made it seem so weird. It was just like, oh hey, I decided to get this removed.
No, I didn't pay attention to that.
Here's how
that
they
much.
did it. It's a mag. You know, they pulled it out and then the magnet fucking caught it, and it was just like, that's Doctor Wu. That was what he did. That's his technology, his idea. So both of those.
I thought that was just a standard magnet, which seemed incredibly unsafe to hover over a heart. But all right.
Is it interesting that they put this detailed information in there, or do you think that they're just putting the information in and people are running wild with it?
Literally, no one is running wild with the Doctor Wu theory.
You have not
and
looked
I was going by.
What have you looked up any forums of people talking about this movie years ago?
No.
But how come you're not on this shit, dude? I just fucking told you they just introduced Radioactive Man, whom I thought was only a character in The Simpsons for the first 31 years of my life.
I swear to God, Dr. Wu is just the brilliant dude behind Agents of Atlas, or Agent Atlas, whatever, Atlas. And Radioactive Man is just like a Chinese nationalist whose power is to irradiate people. I didn't pay much more to it. Also, Tony was drunk. I go by the Tony drunk meter of plot importance. Like, if he's not taking them seriously, neither am I.
Wait a minute. What about Aldrich Killian?
Until they get to the elevator. and even then, you could see him turning on the smart. Because what's cool about, I guess, Tony's Archer-like levels to be professional while intoxicated is you could see him calling out stuff like he's reading his T-shirt. He's like, I would be interested in work with you. Meet me on the roof in like 5 minutes. Like he's throwing him bones, even though Guy Pearce is moonlighting as the creepiest human being on the face of the planet.
What made him so creepy too? Was it just like a hunch and like honestly, I feel like he looked almost no different. He just stood up straight.
I love Guy Pearce from Memento, and I can't decide whether or not he's handsome or violently ugly. Because there's something about his teeth and jawline and like dimples that frighten me on a visceral
level. Hair in Memento. Just remove the hair. I think he was in another movie I saw. I'm not proud of it, but it was called Bedtime Stories, and it wasn't the porno, even though I've seen those. It was Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler and I think Zena, was it? Guy Pearce is in that movie, yeah.
All right.
And Memento! I make the proclamation. I know him from things.
But it's set up that how do you want to lead into this Mandarin thing? So because Aldrich Killian, Guy Pearce's character, is marooned on the roof, he gets to think about his life and conjure up this devious supervillain scheme of always hanging out in the background while he's letting his experiments. Now, are the explosions of the guys that do you want to set up what AIM is? Do you want to tell these people what's going on?
Do you want to tell them what AIM is, man? I know.
Within the context of the movie, so he has he's curing people or rather regrowing limbs and whatnot through this extremist technology. There's a bug or two loose with it. Him and his science partner Maya, last name.
Big bug. Hold on, I got it. Maya.
While you're pulling up the castles, whatever the reason, it causes people to blow up. Now, is he just using?
Okay. So they didn't get the dose right, or what's?
Well, it was always a glitch when Tony brought Maya up to the room and Happy was fucking around with the plants, pulled an arm off a plant. As it grew back, it blew up. Now, what I want to know is, while they're working out the kinks in it, are they just playing off every like prolific explosion as a terrorist attack, or is that like plan formulated later? I never really got clarification on that. But whatever the reason, Killian and the Mandarin are working together. But we don't know that at first. At first, the Mandarin is introduced like a straight up badass. Like for the first third of the movie, you were okay with the Mandarin? He had some pretty nifty monologues on
Was he a
Fuck You
badass?
America.
Okay. Now, I know I'm speaking in retrospect here. Let me get a little bit closer to the mic. I know I'm speaking in retrospect here. But who the fuck is it when it comes to a movie, I suppose? But when you listen to Ben Kingsley all, 3 or 4 times they had the televised event, he doesn't even sound like he thinks he's serious.
Ooh.
Like it's a joke from the beginning that he's his acting, like that he is in charge of all this shit.
No, homie is deadly serious before you learn that he's
no
before you learn what happens,
because that's how they dress it up. But it's like it's like when you see like a giant person and they have like a tiny squeaky voice and you're just like, I can't believe it. You're just thrown off. Listen to him. Listen to the words he uses when he takes over your country. Like, are you taking me serious right now? Of course not.
I mean, it's all in the vein of comic books, like his little fortune cookie story. They sound Chinese, but they're actually an American invention, which is why they're hollow and full of lies and leave a bad taste in the mouth and all that. I mean, yeah, it grandiose.
Sounds more poetic than anything else.
All right, yeah, poetic, but whatever. He's menacing. Were you not But okay, especially when he shoots dude in the dome when he's trying to get a call from the president and all that, just to prove a point. Like he came across as genuinely menacing.
Well, at that point, but I mean like just the first couple of videos. But yeah, so for that one, he did actually pull the trigger and kill that guy, didn't he?
Well, not really, as you'll find out later. but yes. And honestly,
you're stepping all over my point. Did you not listen to the way he spoke? It's like, I swear, dude, it's a joke from the beginning. And honestly, when you really put it together, it looked like he just threw together some clips of like explosions and then just spoke over it and then just, I will be back. And it was just like, it goes back to my theory about how Apocalypse wasn't a bad guy for the majority of that X-Men movie.
Right.
About how he was dressed up as like, oh shit, you can tell by looking at him, this is a bad guy. He run, and he's like, I haven't done shit yet, you racist motherfucker.
I don't see your point to that end. Like, I expected you to be more upset with the exposure that it turns out that the Mandarin was just an actor, but you didn't like how he was portrayed prior to the reveal either. Because I thought he did
I thought the whole thing was a joke. I like Ben Kingsley, but none of it even seemed real. Like if you watch,
really, you weren't buying it at all from the beginning. That's strange.
This time around.
Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to hop back in the time machine.
That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking in retrospect, but I'm also speaking with like more open ears than before. Like, there's no way that the first time I saw this movie, I recognized as many things that time around.
Yeah, and I genuinely remember being flabbergasted in the theater. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And Trevor Slattery, what? Yeah. How is this happening right now?
Well, yeah. The thing was, like, I don't know, like, how great of a villain he is, like, overall in the scheme of the MCU, but, like, once he gets, like, the 10 different rings of power, I can't believe you don't know this by now, for such an Iron Man fan. Each ring does something different, and it's like, it's kind of like the Infinity Stone. It's like, well, once you hold them all, you just, like, you have, like, a whole circle of power that's, like, each one coexists with the next one, or complements it. There we go. And like they even showed on several frames of him like on camera doing the televised event, like he had just hands full of fucking rings, and I was just like, why? What are they gonna do with those? But they're pretty badass, and they make him somewhat unstoppable. He's like Magneto level dope when he has all 10 rings, and then he's the one who's responsible for calling Fin Fang Foom out of like the mountain from whatever he's sleeping in for whatever reason.
Okay.
This guy's insane.
All right, so
And now
so
they
you're saying
can't
that
use
it
him.
tipped you off in the beginning that because he wasn't using the rings, you figured something was up. Okay. I
No,
guess that.
not exactly. I thought it was weird how eventually you see like footage with him with rings on, and then it's like if they're just none on. I to begin with, I want to say there's none, and then in the middle there's some, and then it's like what it seems like to me is because I'm not a pro now, but I do understand things now because I edit videos more than I used to. And I
Hmm.
understand that you can record a whole project, and if you just keep scraping down, you'll miss important things. And it's like, I don't know if after you edit and crop it, do you send it back to whoever created it and go, hey, what do you think? But like, look at all the shit that's gone now. You know what I mean? Like you can get rid of too much and then nothing will make sense. And I think that's what happens in a lot of these movies. I think Deadpool had a like 2 or 3 dope ass cutscenes or deleted scenes that are in the Blu-ray and the DVD. I was like,
Hmm.
this explains so much. Like, where the fuck did that one girl, teenage Negasonic superhero, where did she go after the fight, and why did she do that? You know, I guess I should wait for we do that podcast. She does this move at the end of that movie where she is the reason the whole thing collapses, the whole like structure and everything, and Deadpool's girl is gonna fall to her death at the top. Like none of that was happening until she jumped up and just came down with the fucking super bomb because Colossus was getting choked by a girl.
Yeah, I
That's
thought that was in there.
that was her only move was to do that. No, but like they did something totally different in the other one. Like it was like that girl, whatever her name was, Gina Carano, got on top of her and started choking her, and she
Mm.
was like, okay, 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 boom, and then she just exploded. I was like, oh, makes perfect sense. That's why everything exploded because she was
Huh.
choking to death, not Colossus.
Okay. So I initially thought you were talking about like a continuity overlook where like the rings are missing from one frame to another, but you actually just
I
think
think
that it
that did
was
happen ultimately.
poor editing choices.
Because of poor editing. Yeah, I mean it. I suppose I don't know. I know that when that there's a reason there's deleted scenes, and it's because this was the runtime, and here's what happened when you guys did this, and it's like, well, what did you guys leave out? Did you leave out the rings because they were there for that one scene? I could be stupid, but they were there for that one scene, and after that they were useless. But I'm mostly
Uh,
mad about him, not the fact that he seemed like a fake actor and the rings are useless now. It's he's useless as a character. What are they gonna
I
do?
mean,
What's his name? Guy
he's
Pearce kept saying, "I'm the Mandarin. I'm the Mandarin." It's like, okay, well, so there's not going to be a Mandarin.
yeah. I mean, he wasn't useless. He played into Killian's plan, but he most assuredly was not the Mandarin that
But that could have been played by any
fanboys had come to
random.
expect.
You could just have anybody be the
He,
face of your terrorism. Why'd you have to choose Iron
I'm
Man's best
inclined.
villain?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, but you got to think of like what the Mandarin is. Like, I was kind of worried about them bringing Iron Fist into the mainstream fold in any kind of way because of the type of character he is. Like, just this
What's wrong with
blatant
China, Trey?
rip-off attempt of Yellowface. Like, you can't really. It just even in the comics, he's a bit of a martial artist and all that jazz. Like it wouldn't ring. It would come across as hokey, like bad, if you tried to especially if it was Ben Kingsley trying
Well,
to come
yeah,
across as
isn't
this
he Middle
Asian dude.
Eastern? Like, why would they try to use him? The character's name is Mandarin. Like, could it be any more Chinesey?
Yeah. So I mean, I appreciated the fake out, or rather, I rolled with it when it happened.
Well, because there's
Like
more going on to the story. At least they build up on Iron Man in this movie, you know? I feel like there's a lot more to say about him now because now he is experiencing anxiety attacks. But, like, outside of that, he's still, he still has the drive of, like, a superhero, but he still has the hard headedness of Tony. Where I feel like going back to my old point, he sees everything big picture and he can't see what's in front of him.
yeah, and this is what why I was able to let go of the movie just having not a lot of Iron Man in it because Robert Downey Jr. does such a good job of being Tony Stark. But yeah, you could see from his anxiety attacks and his and his need to constantly tinker around what got him in trouble with Pepper. How laser focused he is on dealing with aliens and fucking gods with hammers and monsters existing. And I'm just a guy in a suit.
I thought what got her mad was the fact that he called the suit in his sleep, and she almost got fucked up by an Iron Man suit.
Well, no, she just decided to sleep on the couch after that one. But she was.
So they really. Oh, so it was just me. Like they didn't make a big deal about that, because I feel like if you're fucking around so much and one of your suits comes to grab me by my hands while I'm sleeping, something's wrong.
Yeah.
I thought she'd have been like, "No more Iron Man, no more staying out past midnight."
Oh yeah, she's gonna put the foot down like that.
Oh yeah.
No. I also hated what they did with Pepper Potts. Stop trying to make her a goddamn hero. Just let her be super secretary. Stop giving her magical powers. No, I can't get that from. All right, I'll let that one go.
I know. I'm right there with you, man. Keep going.
All right. So Stunny has panic attacks. All right. So before his house gets blown up, after he gives the Mandarin his address, he plugs in the coordinates to Tennessee because that's how he figures that the bombs are not bombs. Happy gets put into a hospital, and he's on his way, not by his choice, to check out what went down in Tennessee.
Because
this is where we get the whole second act of the movie.
So I remember before, I think I had a convo with you maybe outside the podcast where you were talking about how when Tony's computer setup, how it's this big 3D world.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Is that
really
dope as fuck or what?
Yeah, that was a pretty miraculous sequence there where he's trying to figure out the heat signatures of what's causing these explosions.
Yeah.
And he's like standing up on top of his hardware contraption, picking out pieces of the land, reconstructing dog tags and shit. Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't know how holograms are going to work in the future, but if there's anything like that, then we're okay. That's pretty neat. That's pretty swanky.
Dude's pretty fucking brilliant. It's like, man, when did you make all this shit? I built an Iron Man suit to make it for me.
Yeah.
I built an Iron Man suit to make it for me. Yeah, now he's got, god damn it. So, what was up with giving away your address?
Well, he was incredibly upset. This is right after Happy got caught up in an explosion of his own making, also trying to be a hero. I mean, I'm almost more willing to accept it from Happy because his character has been kind of consistently gung-ho to just get up people's way and all that. But, he sees that guy in the lobby after Killian goes in there, starts flirting with Pepper, showing him his big old brain. He's like, I'm going to follow this guy. I'm going to tag him. Uh-huh. And he goes in there, gets himself blown up. And the press is there right outside of his hospital. So, of course, Tony says something bombastic and gets his address out to the world, and immediately has a missile fly into his Malibu penthouse.
Not until one of his exes came over, right?
Well, yeah, and now, okay, why did she show up? Because she's working with the two of them who are about to blow up Tony's house. Like, is she there to warn him?
That's a good point. That's a bad time to show up. She probably had no...
know that she wants him later because he's going to be able to figure out, the why is everybody blowing up part of Extremis. Mm-hmm. But at that point, why blow him up in the first place type deal. I don't know who I'm more confused at, her showing up instead of just calling saying, hey, get out of there, there's a missile coming.
I get it. No, I got it. I solved the mystery. She
what is it?
knows they're coming to kill him, and instead of just calling him and telling him, she shows up at a last attempt to keep him alive.
What, to make it more convincing? I mean, she gives it away right away when
she says, let's go somewhere safe, right? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but that only served to separate out Pepper Potts and all that. And right when Killian showed up, she's like, aha, gotcha, bitch. So I thought it was weird. But one of the story arcs in current Iron Man comics going on is putting Pepper Potts into her own suit called Rescue. It doesn't have any of the ballistics capabilities that the War Machine and Iron Man armor have, but it's like a search and rescue sort of Iron Man suit with like flash.
Oh yeah, I'm so
And
glad you brought
healing
that
packs
up.
and all that stuff. And they just kind of repurposed the Mark 42 armor to fit Pepper Potts, but it was kind of a nod to her sort of, I guess, superhero persona as Rescue. I thought that was cute, but it not so much earned. Also, I have problems with people finding their wherewithal in an active explosion. Like Robert Downey Jr. did a lot of shit while a missile was blowing up his house. As he's flying backwards.
The second one hit him and made him go
white. The armor over there. I'm gonna tuck and roll this way. Yeah, no.
Stop stopping. Go. Yeah, that was I thought that was super stupid for such a smart guy to do.
What? Giving her the first?
Yeah. First of all, you have more than one suit, but if you only have one suit, well, let's
that
break
you can call.
Let's break this down. Yeah, okay. So if you only have one suit that can come and call, and you can call it, and it'll come hook up to you. Why does Tony have those injected in his arm? If he can get those to go to Pepper, I thought it was like like they notice him. Like, it's like, how he has the bracelet in Avengers.
Oh yeah, and it was made especially confusing because at the end of this movie, it's him and Rhodey on the plank. He's like, "All right, give me a suit." And he's like, "they're only coded to me." Like, that is not true at all.
Exactly.
we just saw him go to Pepper. Where? I mean, I guess that's just him dicking with Rhodey because it's so much fun too.
Yeah, right. But Rhodey's badass on his own. I know we're switching. Now that you mentioned it, I don't know much about him other than he's the guy who who is the War Machine suit.
Mm-hmm.
But every scene that he busted out a gun, this dude's fucking Archer. God,
no, he's a soldier.
Damn it.
He's
soldier doesn't describe.
He's an Air Force.
He shot the wire. Okay, soldier. Like, does that mean you can shoot
the wire? He did do a lot
of
things with the gun. Yeah, like he used it like a multi-tool. It's some scissors.
You can't hit a light. What?
Yeah, he did several like household object things with bullets that you're not supposed to do.
As they were falling, when he had the Iron Patriot suit and the president, like they were falling, he was like, whoop, and he fell, and then he looked up, and then he shot the wire, and he's just, gotcha. I got you, President.
And good job throwing in the Iron Patriot suit. Suit I never liked in the comics, but I just want more War Machine. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll get it when Civil War comes around, but
were they not setting up the Civil War? The way he was talking about, he was defending the fact that they called it the Iron Patriot.
I wouldn't so much call it a setup for Civil War. What do you mean?
Well, there was that, and then there was the fact that like no one checks to see who's in the costume. They just assume that it's Rhodes. He just just lands in front of a plane, doesn't say hi to anybody. He walks up to the plane, just like,
everybody, and I've got this shoulder-mounted gun turret. We're gonna be okay,
right? Like before this, it was Tony, but now it's me, and it'll only be me forever.
Yeah, it was weird.
But that's that right there is what I meant. Civil War, right there. We don't know who the fuck was in that suit. They just assume that was Rhodes. And that's why they want to know who's in that suit at all times.
Well, I suppose that does make an argument for like suit registration, but not the main crux of Civil War.
I feel like they're like, okay, so I feel like Iron Man's armor was very user friendly for Pepper Potts, right?
Well, I mean, you could see her struggling with it in the beginning, like when she's getting Maya out of the building. She doesn't know how to use the repulsors right away.
Yeah.
And there were all kinds of problems with the Mark 42 armor, with things just not turning on the way they should. But it took her a sec to get the hang of it.
And then they have the scene where that one guy, I don't know what his name is. He works under Killian. He was wearing the suit.
Henchman number one.
Henchman
Oh
number
wait,
one.
who? Wait, who are you talking about?
He should have a name because he was doped up on the Extremis himself. He was
Yeah,
like
but he never rocked an Iron Man suit.
he
Is that what
was
you're
in
saying?
the War Machine suit when they went to go steal the president.
Ooh, yeah, I couldn't really tell who that was. I wanted to say that was Killian, but it didn't look like him. Was
He
that
doesn't
his
go to do
henchman?
his own work. No, yeah, that was that guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
his second
Yeah.
in command.
Everybody's faces
Everyone's
look all
just-
scrunched up.
Everyone's
in
just
that.
rocking these suits like it's easy to do. It's weird. I'm
Right?
like,
Yeah.
did Tony make them easier? If so, why is War Machine so easy? And how come the president couldn't operate it?
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't really show anything about like hacking the suit. Oh yeah, we turned because Whiplash, you could buy it because they introduced him as like a cybernetics kind of guy. I'm like, how are you doing anything with this suit, man? How is this not programmed to come back to not you at the very least?
Saying
Whatever.
you were giving me shit when I was saying back in Iron Man 2, Rhodey was using it all too well.
Yeah. Little did I know this would be way more egregious. All right, so he's pinned underwater, gets a hand up from himself, passes out
That
on
was
his
cool.
way to Tennessee.
That was really cool, but that fell into
yeah,
the line
did
of
you-
his anxiety, though. That gave him. I mean, for some reason, I thought Rhodes had a problem with falling and drowning. I know we all do, but I thought Rhodes
Okay.
more had like a I have nightmares about it kind of thing. Which
Why?
I guess because he's black.
I don't know why I didn't see that joke coming.
But no, that was super badass. Sarah, go ahead and take a deep breath.
Yeah, Jarvis really came through, only to suck for the
What?
next 40 minutes of the movie.
What was the hack with Jarvis thing about though?
What
Why
do you
was
mean?
he acting goofy? Like every sentence he said the wrong word once.
Oh no, he powered down because he ran out of batteries.
Well, even when he came back though, when he was just like they're in Miami and he didn't trust him anymore, was it because of low power? I thought it was like
No, Jarvis has always been tip top, other than when they landed in the snow.
no. When after that he was talking to him and he decided something was wrong with Jarvis. He would say something like, "I always say the wrong apple." It's like
I don't know. That might have been one of those quippy lines of dialogue that go by me. It wasn't as bad as in Iron Man 2, but a lot of the dialogue was. I mean, they weren't talking over each other, but they just gave free room for Downey to just go into banter mode and just get the lips moving. So I missed a few lines of dialogue here and there.
You know what
But
I'm not really a fan of is like I guess at first it was kind of cool to see like when Tony Stark's like in the Iron Man outfit and they want to show Tony, they just like show you his face. Well, now they're doing the thing where it's like, oh, well, he doesn't have to be in the same room. He could just so it's kind of hard to tell if he's in the costume or not, right? When he saved those people at the end.
Oh yeah.
That like
That
when
was
basically
a cool sequence, the airplane.
yeah, when he whooped that dude's ass, that was pretty awesome. That was a very subtle sound. I had to rewind it to hear it. That guy heard him come by, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then Tony's arm or the Iron Man's arms went through. But they'll like show scenes with Rhodey, and I'm like with War Machine, and I'm like, oh, he looks so badass. And instead of just letting War Machine talk through the outfit, it was just like they would just go back to Rhodes in the outfit, and I was like, what's the deal with this?
No,
It would look so cool just to see him talk through the road out, the War Machine outfit. Why the fuck? Nothing wrong with Don Cheadle, but I don't need to see a close up on his face.
Nah, man, it's you got to get the FaceTime in. It's why Spider-Man was constantly ripping off of his mask in all the Sam Raimi movies. Just every opportunity they can to show Tobey Maguire. So this is really me doing this, They can't just let superheroes be superheroes. I made the argument on Twitter for everything to just be a goddamn cartoon, so that you don't have to worry about aging.
You sound like me, motherfucker. You remember that? I'm telling you. No, well, not just because of aging, but also to save money. Not every building exploding needs to cost $1 billion. Maybe you could just draw it for like I don't know, a couple $100.
It's a podcast for another time, but I do think there's a huge argument there to just go completely cartoon with the whole next bit. But we're in Tennessee. We're in Tennessee. Tony's all stressed out. Actually, not stressed out yet. He's holding it together pretty well. He stole a poncho from an Indian, and he makes it to this kid's garage. How do you feel about Detective Tony Stark?
Perfect. Yeah, because that was way too like Batman, was it not?
I don't know about. Yeah, there were definitely huge parallels to draw.
See, but I feel like they didn't show any of that Batman in the movies. Like any of that kind of detective work, for the most part, was saved for the video game. I thought, because maybe I played a lot more game than I watched the movies. The fact that like when he like did that whole diagram before, when he was trying to look at Happy Hogan to see if he'd left him any clues, that was literally from Batman, the video game. 100%.
Okay.
Like that. I mean, it was really awesome. I liked it. I thought like I didn't know Tony would do this, but I didn't hate it. It was really cool.
Yeah, he makes a better Batman than Batman. Well, I mean,
I don't know about that.
Didn't Christopher Nolan's what's his name? Another American Psycho. Come on, Christian Bale. Didn't Christian Bale do all kinds of detective stuff in The Dark Knight before that? Or was he mainly focused on Krav Maga, getting his mind right to get his back broken by Bane?
I mean,
I felt like he did some pretty smart stuff. He reconstructed
it was
bullet,
on the fly though, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the bullet. That was pretty dope. This was a crime scene though.
Yeah. Either way, Tony is lucky twice to get A, Yinsen in a cave, the only open heart surgeon locked in a prison cell in Afghanistan in the world, and B, the only little boy with a hardware filled with, what did he need? Reverse compulsor batteries or something? He just stumbled upon a woodshed with a child genius.
Totally, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he lucked out a little in that regard, but it built a pretty swanky relationship with those two. As Tony is like a wayward father figure and douchebag du jour to this poor kid.
It was the scenes where the kid was making him like have a panic attack were weird though, because it's like
it or not?
Well, because it's like he told him to stop, and the kid just kept going, and then it's just like, and then he kept without a breath, and he was just like, "Should I stop? Oh my god, this is making it any worse. What about this?" It's just like, yo, shut the fuck up. Did you not hear him the first time?
No, their entire relationship was predicated upon dicking with each other. Like right after that sequence, he's trying to like hitch a ride back with him, and he's like, "We're connected." It's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." And it's like
I understood that from Tony's
to
side.
each other.
Yeah, I got that from Tony's side. That was pretty cool. But I don't know. I just thought the kid was just, I don't know. I don't give a... The kid I just thought was being stupid.
He's not gonna fanboy all over Tony Stark. I mean, he was a fan of Iron Man. The guy in the news van. Now that was a ridiculous fanboy. Gary.
The guy who had the tattoo and the fucking the hair. I did my whole like appearance off
pattern. That was that guy was sufficiently creepy. What else is he in? I feel like I've seen him in things. Ugh.
That guy? I don't know. Let's point out. I looked away for about a minute, less than that. I was in the same room. I just wasn't looking at the TV. I miss Stanley. Do you remember where he is?
Yeah, Stanley is at a beauty pageant rating one of the girls.
Yeah, I don't know the same scene you're talking about right now.
Oh, okay. Where is that in the movie? Is that like midway through?
It was it. Well, yeah, it was it.
What happens leading up to that? Why are they there?
Tony's in that van with that guy, but before that guy gets there, like there's TVs on in the van, and like they just show Stanley through one of the TVs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a minor cameo. Come on, Stan. Step it up.
Step it up. He's trying to get time for Jack Kirby, man, right?
Okay.
I don't even know who Jack Kirby is. You mentioned him one time.
Honestly,
so do you want to take a break?
Go ahead and hit pause.
All right, we are back. back and talking a little bit more about some Iron Man 3. You know, one thing
Nice.
that a couple things I noticed about this flick.
What's up?
Um, Pepper Potts. We were kind of talking about her earlier. Said how she couldn't get the repulsor to work. Do
Right.
you remember she pulled her hand up and then she pointed at her face.
Like you do.
It's not working.
It's very Ocean's 11. Did you check the batteries? Check the batteries. This is why you carry spare batteries. Ugh.
I feel like do you remember that scene where like the helmet from Tony, one of Tony's helmets from after the whole Ground Zero thing happened, where they shot a bunch of missiles at his house, and like Pepper's there, and she hears the helmet blink. Like one random helmet on the floor starts blinking.
Okay.
She hears it like make a sound like ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
She like picks it up and puts the helmet on, and it's like Tony. He left a message.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a bomb.
No,
I don't know.
Didn't it cut to her him calling Pepper?
She's like, "Oh, when I hear a sound like that, the bomb, right? That's it."
Brain's just conditioned to go bomb right away. Okay,
I've seen too many movies where there's a bomb sound.
Do you feel like they did a good job explaining the need not to have the Avengers assemble to stop this gigantic terrorist threat? I mean, do you think enough lip service was paid for like Captain America not to be there, or like any of the more American-based superhero, like a Shield agent of any kind, a Black Widow? Do you think this was a personal enough of an Iron Man story to warrant them not calling in bigger guns? Because one of the things that bugged me about Age of Ultron is how quickly the team got back together. Like pretty much with that opening montage sequence, I'm like, how is the gang all here? and you couldn't call them to like, stop the president from getting kidnapped.
It's a good point. It was kind of world threatening, but at the same time, like the Avengers is never always like a fully, like a unit. Sometimes they're off fighting crime elsewhere, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, I can take them. Maybe just me and Rhodes will take care of this one, kind of thing. I feel like.
I mean, I to that point, I can kind of see that
there were bombs going up, and were they all in America?
Yeah. The whole thing is domestic. I mean, apart from the Mandarin being a Middle Eastern / Chinese of nebulous ethnic origin.
Maybe you're
actually British actor.
Maybe you're just asking for a lot. You want to know what all the Avengers are doing right now?
It's
just
the first
take it
film
easy.
After the Avengers. I mean, some
but it's an Iron
kind
Man
of lip service has to be paid as to why nobody else is showing up. I think that the movie does a good job showing Tony Stark's mind state in a post-Avengers world. Like, I really like that he's battling with crippling anxiety throughout the film, and it seems to get resolved kind of at the midway point when the kid says, "Why don't you just fix it?" It's
just build something.
I'll just do that. Yeah. I'll just do that.
You're right, though. There should be some kind of. They reference the Avengers, but not like what's going on. Like, are they on a mission? Is something going on? Like, do you need help? I mean, there was plenty of times where this is one thing that was cool about Tony Stark, but not about Iron Man. Was there's plenty of scenes where he is in straight up life or death action scenes as Tony. And there's one scene where he has like a left boot and a right glove and like a submachine gun in his other hand. What the fuck is happening? When that kid told him to build something and then he just rolled up on that property with like dart guns and handmade like explosives and basically like Christmas ornaments he was just dropping in puddles of water. Fucking insane.
You're not talking about the house party protocol, that whole scene where he has to infiltrate the Mandarin's house? Yeah.
Well, that's afterward. Yeah, like that's another one of the scene where you're talking about when he has the glove in the boot?
Yeah, that was towards the end when they were fighting on the tanker. But I know what you're talking about when he's infiltrating the house, and I kind of like how they played that because Tony's not a soldier. That's what made that whole dynamic between him and Rhodey cool when they were on the tanker, and like Tony's just firing a gun into whatever. You can't hit a light from that far away, and all that jazz. But yeah, like you can. They showed in the beginning him like training a little bit on that practice dummy thing that he had set up in his room
when he was like all what's it called, insomniac or whatnot.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's enough of an insight to see that he's been training a bit in hand-to-hand combat, but not enough to just infiltrate a house with dudes with guns and all that stuff. Yeah, this movie suffered from a classic case of letting the good guy live for way too long. I mean, just kill him. When he's doing that whole you guys are gonna be dead in 5, 4, 3. No, just fucking beam him over the head. He's clearly threatening your life. All right.
I guess my question just now would have been skipping ahead, but what do you think about the fact that he doesn't need that that thing in his chest anymore? Does that give more space and energy towards the Iron Man suit, or does that just mean he doesn't?
No, that was just to keep the metal from getting out of his heart, and it wasn't really that much of an important part of his character going past the second movie. So yeah, why not? Good on you. And this movie at the end, it made it seem like it was kind of like wrapping up Robert Downey Jr. being in the MCU altogether. So I wasn't really he says I am Iron Man at the end, which I guess gives a hint that he's gonna go forward with new types of armor. But at the end, he destroys all of his armor. With the clean slate protocol.
Yeah, what is that about, dude? It's the sexist in me that keeps going, his girl just made him do this shit, like just blow all of them up. Like, you understand how many millions of dollars?
I guess what you're meant to infer, and I'm not sure if I can corroborate this with what you see in the Age of Ultron and Civil War, is that he repurposed the Extremis armor into something like what he did in the comic books, to where like he has more of a technopathic relationship with his devices, with his suit. But they did. I don't really feel like they went in that direction when they were wrapping up the end of the movie.
It didn't seem so.
Yeah, clearly, since he's still in the MCU, you're meant to understand that he started over. But you don't see Iron Man again until Age of Ultron, So you're just kind of left to wonder like what he's been up to this time.
Well, I mean, are we just supposed to act like time is going by because time, it takes a lot of time to make these movies, or did Ant-Man possibly happen at the same time as something else? You know what I mean?
I mean,
I know Ant-Man came out a different year, but was it happening simultaneous with another Tony Stark?
No. Yeah, like Thor: The Dark World happened, and then Captain America happened. Yeah, no, it's months before the next time you see Tony Stark again, or a year, I guess, maybe 2. I don't know.
That's a good point.
But this film grossed $409 million in North America.
God dang.
5 in other countries. It's number 3 in the I was just checking the Marvel rankings. It's number 3 behind Avengers and Age of Ultron. So people were way higher on this movie than I was.
Yeah, right.
And since we're at this point, I think it's time to stack up the end of the Phase 1 films. We haven't really made it a point to give our scores to any of these because we're not professional critics. We're just here having fun. But I think it would add a semblance of order to this whole goddamn affair if we take the 6 previous movies that are considered Marvel Phase 1 everything, including Avengers and leading up to Avengers. So that's with this one. Do you want to save this movie for Phase 2?
It is Phase 2.
Yeah, we'll save this for Phase 2. So we got 6 movies. least favorite to favorite. Jabril, what is your number 6 movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What is your least favorite?
Oh, okay. So it's definitely not Iron Man. It's. I feel like I came around to Captain America. What else is there? Thor.
We got Avengers, Iron Man, Captain A, Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Hulk.
Incredible Hulk, you mean?
Incredible Hulk. 1,000 pardons. I have the Incredible Hulk as my least favorite.
I was gonna say
a dry run just to get the Hulk into the MCU. Didn't really offer much as far as in fact, the Hulk doesn't even get good until what's his face? What's his nuts? Come on. We know his name.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo gets to play him by the time Avengers comes around. So yeah, I have the Incredible Hulk as the abomination that it is at the bottom of the list.
It could be that or Iron Man 2.
Really? You did not like Iron Man 2 that much?
Well, I'm trying to think what else was that low on the totem pole. Like, I feel like I came around to Captain America, but I don't think I liked it so much. I understood it and liked it more than before. Captain A is still pretty low, but Incredible Hulk. It's definitely not Iron Man. It's definitely not Avengers. Come on, what else we got? It's definitely not Thor, and that leaves those other 3: Iron Man 2, right?
So,
Captain A and Hulk. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go. Put me down on paper. Let's go with Iron Man 2.
I'll keep a running tally for you, and you're gonna call on the bottom of your shit list Iron Man 2. Okay.
Iron Man 2.
Okay. Well, I guess you reserve the right to change this later. we'll mark you down for Iron Man 2. For number 5, I had Thor. for
really?
right above Hulk, a little bit better than Hulk. Well, there's only really 6 movies to choose from, and as much as I tried to sing the praises of our first Thor movie on the cast, I do think it's a bit of a drab affair, especially after seeing Ragnarok now, which I know is unfair to judge it against that far superior movie, but
it's totally not fair. But you're right, Thor was something like super Chris Hemsworth, man.
It felt just too Shakespearean. And honestly, I like Chris Hemsworth. I thought him and Natalie Portman were the best parts about it. I just thought that the tone and direction that they chose to go in was just sappy. You know? It was a very dour affair. But you're not king. What do you have for number 5?
I was going to go with Incredible Hulk.
Going with Hulk. So Iron Man 2 and the Hulk. Jesus, we have a vastly different view of this. Why do you have the Hulk at number 5?
It's because I'm put on the spot here. I didn't run this down. I still have that old hatred of Iron Man 2 because the villain was really weak. Not really a big fan of the story. I feel like a lot of the Iron Man movies, like, it's not about the villains. I guess it's just about Iron Man. It's one of those things where it's like they're not the most interesting characters. I feel like we didn't wrap this movie up with talking about the main villain here. We're gonna touch back on that.
We could hop back into that with a little talk on Iron Man 2, because this one, this movie that we watched, Iron Man 3, is the first one to take it out of the direction of having him go up against a giant suit of armor himself. Instead, this time he got to fight Killian is the main bad guy, the real Mandarin. Were you a fan of how that went down? I honestly am glossing over it because I didn't even like the end fight sequences. Stop having his armor fall off of his goddamn body. I swear to God, he's a better engineer than that.
That's a good point. I don't know what that was all about. No, I never liked those fight scenes. It's kind of cool to see, but I mean, as a concept, it didn't make sense because he was so good in other ways as far as being a mechanic goes.
And even then, once you get past that, Pepper Potts is the one who finished him off. And you know how much I hate regular people stepping it up to hop into the hero role for no reason. So yeah, when she fucking swatted that Iron Man suit out the air and then drop kicked a bullet into his face and then blasted him, like, whoa, take it down a notch.
Drop kicked a bullet.
Go file some papers, man. What is wrong with you?
She just got tested. I feel like she just got tested on for some mutagenic, right? or whatever the fuck it was called they did to her, and it took.
I mean, I know it makes your arms grow back, but why? Why you feel so badass all of a sudden?
Well, because it was the climax of the movie, man. They can't just show her just crawling up there, just not knowing what to do. Like, I'm still alive somehow.
I guess. So you're Iron Man 2, you're Hulk. What's your number 4 movie?
Number 4. I guess I'd go with Captain America.
Captain A, rounding out the 3rd spot. I got him ranked 1 higher. I got Iron Man 2 in the 4th spot. What do you like about... What's left for you? Yeah, why you got Captain A here as opposed to Iron Man and Avengers?
Because of...
And Thor. Wow, you're putting Captain A behind Thor? Yeah, you really didn't like this movie. Why not?
Captain America, I thought... I think you can go back into the podcast and listen to it if you really don't remember, but the... I didn't like most of the time that he spent in that weird looking body getting beat up by all CGI'd and shit. I thought they kind of by the time they made him Captain America, they kind of raced him through the rest of it. Like maybe it's not as far as he was super, but they raced him through the fun parts. He was kind of a
the
Dumbo.
montage sequences especially really took me out of all the good stuff that was going on with Captain A. I agree.
But I mean, it seems like on its own, it would stand better than... I like Iron Man. Don't get me wrong. The villains are a big part for me. So it's just like, I feel like... I've always kind of felt this way, though. Like, when you're watching an Iron Man movie, he's not like a hero for any reason, for anything other than, for the most part... I guess you can't say that. I was going to say people attack him, but I'm sure they start it somehow. It seems like he just has a suit. I know it's because of the terrorists captivating him and whatnot. But after that... It's
an ego trip. He's a weapons dealer gone, wait, I think I can do this all on my own.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the movies, they surround him and like the bad guys just kind of show up as like jealous guys who fucked us over in the past.
Yeah, he is always going up against like business tycoons. Justin Hammer, Obadiah Stane, and now Aldrich Killian are all just like angry white guys in suits who kind of want some of his money, you know? Yeah, I see your point to that end. Yeah.
The fight scene itself was kind of cool. I mean, like Killian was doing work. Like, I appreciated how awesome like Iron Man was able to put on and take off the armor, as you so were angry about. Every time Killian took off a limb, like he was just like, he disconnected his thigh. He like disconnected like his arm.
I've seen that scene twice now. Where is he getting his leg out of there? Like I see the thing coming apart, but his leg looks clearly in there, and then like Killian holds up like the discarded piece of armor where his leg should clearly be,
and then he just rolls out of the armor. Yeah, he's like, you see it. I can't believe all the fight scenes and whatnot you watch and you didn't see it. I'm disappointed, Trey. Well, yeah, he just like, as soon as like you hear the sound, like he just pulls his leg out like towards himself. Like, yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'll buy it. He's clearly not, walking around on a stump, so he made it.
Where we at? The third movie. I mean, for me, the third movie, there's nothing left that it could be for the third
you gotta
movie.
Have Thor there.
It's gotta be Thor.
Okay, fair enough. I'll put you down for Thor number 2.
Now that I think about it, Thor could probably move a spot or two, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so I think me and you have the same number 2 and number 1, but I'm wondering as to what order you're going to put Iron Man or the Avengers. For me, I've got Avengers ranked number 1 and Iron Man ranked number 2. What about you?
Same, of course.
Same?
Yeah,
okay.
No, Iron Man was amazing, but I mean, like, there's nothing like having a lot of fucking superheroes on camera at the same time.
You damn Skippy.
Ass.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
Kind of what I think sustains these next two movies in the NC. This one, and right after this, we got Thor: The Dark World. Two movies largely considered to not be the best. Although Iron Man 3 raked in at the box office, I don't think it's received very highly.
He brought on a dark role kind of in this movie. Did you notice how many people he killed?
Iron Man?
No, Tony.
I mean, oh, Tony? Well, I mean, maybe he exploded one guy's head with a Christmas ornament, but that's it.
No, everyone he shot died.
I thought that was not a real gun. Didn't he roll up to the facility with not a real gun?
Once he got in, he took one of the guy's guns. Like, he shot him with a dart gun, and then he threw grenades in there, and then, like, he took one of the guy's guns.
And just went straight AK-47 on people?
Before he got the AK, he had a handgun.
I don't remember that.
And then he had the AK while he was fucking flying with, like, one hand and one leg. It was, like...
Okay.
Like, the kid who wants to watch Saturday morning cartoons in me just got such a boner that it's hard for me to make fun of this movie. Oh yeah, I didn't rank this movie yet. I was just like, where is it? It can't be that low.
No, we'll save it for the end of phase 2.
Because it's really like there's big disappointing moment when they go over the Mandarin, and then you find out like the villain is this character, and the extremist thing. I didn't know much about it until I did my little wiki search. But the characters that were in it seemed they weren't exactly where they were in the comics, it seemed, but they were like at least together at the same time. They were basically doing the same thing. It seems like that one girl just ends up turning on Killian every chance she gets. Every time she finds out he's fucking crazy. But
well, she was never really a bad guy. She even says while her and Pepper Potts are holed up in that hotel that, yeah, you know, I just gave my research to a think tank and they gave me all this money to fund my shit. I'm not really in it to be a villain. Yeah.
That's how you pay up for a lot of your science bills, man. I'm pretty sure that's how
definitely covered tuition
from Spider-Man.
Yeah, Hobbs.
Didn't they cut the funding,
Peter's
right?
friend. Yeah. Same deal.
Yes,
More or less.
But yeah, Tony was making some straight up death threats in this movie.
Yeah. He said he's coming to kill the Mandarin.
I know he's killed aliens before, but like, who else did he kill?
Oh, they make it a good point about the people with lasers and not soldiers, not straight up killing dudes. Although I think really Tony Stark is the only one who's not allowed to to just go into Murder Town.
I think this movie.
No, Hawkeye's a soldier. You understand he's an assassin. Yeah, they're trying to keep Iron Man's innocence.
I just thought it was weird that he went that far. It was crazy. I think it's things like that made this movie better than the second one. Even though I really hate that Mandarin part, it's like there's still other cool things that happen.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not like it. And going into Thor 2. This is a dark time for Marvel.
Wait,
for me.
Rank your Iron Man movies real quick. Rank your Iron Man
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, they go down in terms of quality with each outing.
I feel like I may have thought that way after I saw the second movie.
And I thought I would have hated
the story in this one.
Yeah, more than I did. With this one, you liked it more?
I really got into the story of him making demons from 14 some years ago. I guess all the stories are kind of like that, whether it be him or not. But just someone coming back to whoop his ass.
How do you feel about Killian's one-off I can breathe fire, but just this once?
Just this once.
That seems incredibly useful.
Just to scare Rhodes
out once.
Not in War Machine form.
That's War Machine rocks, uppercase.
He's just super badass. I didn't know all this about like Jim
I was
Rhodes.
really rocking the not my War Machine hashtag, but since the departure of Terrence Howard, I've come around to Don Cheadle by this movie. He's not enough to save it, but him and Stark do have more of a chemistry this time around.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like Friday. Then there was next Friday after next.
Shockingly. Jabril, hit him with some links. I think we're done with this show, Pony.
Did we finish this one up? All right. I'm not ready for this.
No,
I don't want to say
where
goodbye. Oh, you know what? What about
we're
that
at?
after credit scene?
Fuck, how could we forget?
not
We
much
already
to
pointed
it.
out where Stanley is, and actually, this was one of the better after credit sequences since Captain A's was a bit of a blah, and well, Avengers did tease Thanos, so I guess that gets the best
that's
one. But
been.
this one, like, it was a big what the hell is this? Because you don't get Guardians of the Galaxy for another 2 movies. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of the wrong post credit scene. I was thinking of the collector one. What after credit scene is in this?
I was okay. I was hoping we got the same one. There was only one, and it was
Oh, the bullshit therapy scene?
yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah,
I was
no.
wondering why
What
you
did
were
that
so
serve?
stoked about it. Like this
What
was
did
really
that serve? That did
nothing.
nothing. That
It
did
was just
nothing
goofy.
other than show that Mark
Well,
Ruffalo is not listening to your problems.
it kind of made me think like so that whole time he was telling the story of Iron Man 3 to Mark Ruffalo.
hmm
Because at the beginning of
Yeah,
the movie, he was saying he was talking about making demons and whatnot.
yeah, that's what you're meant to understand, and also it because I'm not really a fan of a narration to just like a Star Wars crawl going down the screen to blanket your stuff. But yeah, they framed the narration at the beginning of the movie to him talking with Mark Ruffalo at the end. Sorry, Tony, I'm not that kind of a doctor.
About that, Tony makes reference to how old he was. He said he was 14 in the year 1983.
Did he?
Yes.
Really? I didn't catch that at all. Okay.
There was like as soon as like he Mark Ruffalo woke up and they had that little thing about he was sleeping, then he started talking again. He was just like, "Yeah, I can't believe it. This happened to me." He goes, "I was 14 years old, 1983." So that means he was born 1969.
Okay. All right.
I'm just making reference to what we went over before with how old we think Howard Stark is.
So you're gonna backwards engineer this math. You're gonna get us some timelines, some carbon dating. You're gonna check the rings on those trees, make sure they add up. All right.
So he was probably what 25 in 1940.
You plug that into your calculator. Tell
There's
me what's
no
going
calculator.
on. You just wrapping your fingers on things. I can do that too. Yeah, no, I don't. Sure, whatever the math is, that
I'm
makes
just saying,
him
Howard
the age
Stark.
he needs to be.
Okay, I guess the question really is how old is Tony's mom? Because Howard could have had him at an old age, right?
Or is it?
That's my question. That's my question.
All right. Well,
But yeah, so all right, let's wrap this one up. That's the Iron Man 3, spelled 3, by the way. Very important. I changed that a few minutes in. By the Iron Man 3 podcast. The first one of phase 2. Happy New Year. We probably should have. Did we go over what New Year's Eve was like? No? It's okay. We can talk off the air.
I'll do your podcast again. Why not? Please
That'd be
email
cool.
us with your questions on how old Tony Stark's mom is at infinitywarmups@gmail. Check us out on Twitter at infinitywarmup. We got a Facebook page, but I don't know how much I care about that thing anymore. You can find us at Facebook at Infinity Warmup. That's it. I don't think we're knocking down any other trees. We're gonna have a YouTube video of this nonsense up. Likewise, the same handle, Infinity Warmup, or where you go. It's been fun, Jabril.
It was pretty good. Did you mention? You said iTunes, right?
Oh yeah, please. I don't know how you're listening to this if you haven't downloaded this on iTunes by now.
Infinity Warm Up on iTunes. I hope it looks this cool. That's not gonna look like anything, but yeah.
Get so your we're trying to catch movie. Up to Black Panther, but we're not gonna make it. It doesn't look like we're gonna make it. We're gonna try.
No, it's gotta be some April or May. But it's okay. What's the next movie we're gonna do, Trey?
The next movie we're gonna do is Thor: The Dark World. Malekith. Yes.
Thor 2.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking shit up.
All the elves a man can want. All right. Deuces, Charles.
Peace.
Is this just called Iron Man 3? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it. All right.